Copper Beauty is in the house.
It's the Copper Beardy Show, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Welcome, Copper Beardy. Good to see you. Glad you're with us. Rory, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm stunned. That's got to take the cake for the quickest intro ever.
It is.
The quickest into the show, as in earliest.
It is. Yeah, I think some of the main views that I've got are non-interruptible, but in other words, we've added code to make sure they couldn't be interrupted by fanfare, but I think the one I selected was not, and we just jumped right out. No big deals. We're glad to have everybody here. So we lost you, Rory, yesterday, and I kept writing code. I was like thinking I'm going all day because I was just, I felt I was writing high quality code. We were getting test cases, right? So I had a sense that the code was good. We were working through some somewhat challenging calculations, and we were basically, the rules of D&D are sometimes there's a lot of exceptions to them. And trying to understand them and turn them into code was taking some time, and it's not always easy. And so, but I felt like we were just going through and getting some important stuff done in terms of making this making the application easier to more filled. More fulfilling, I guess, with regards to the constraints of the D&D game. We were making some great progress there. I haven't checked anything in yet. Hold on one second, though. I want to bring up... I'm trying to find it. There it is, right here. So over here, just to kind of bring you up to speed on where we were yesterday, we started yesterday, I think, with this spreadsheet, the weapon spreadsheet, and
Yes.
We implemented the ability to load in the weapons. I'm pretty sure we did that. Mm-hmm. Weapons have 2 damage entries right here. The damage for weapon doesn't really change, but as a fighter, as you advance in levels, you gain certain abilities, such as the ability to attack twice in one turn.
Okay.
Right, so you get essentially 2 attacks. So you can kind of double up and increase the damage as a fighter. There are some tricky things in this list, though. For example, versatile means it can be used one-handed or two-handed. So we've got anything with a check here indicates we've got 2 entries over here, which means if a player, if I come into my shortcuts and I say, hey, Ava has a battle axe, we're now expecting to see 2 entries for that battle axe.
Yes.
Because the battle axe is versatile. So we're expecting to do that. I think I wrote a test case this morning. Let's see. Is it over here? Yes. So test to hit the 2-hit bonus and the damage die. So this is the problem we're currently chasing after this morning, which is getting the 2-hit bonus and the damage die correctly calculated. Now, this is not necessarily easy to do because, for example, here in the battle axe, you can see here on D&D Beyond, they have a plus. The 2-hit is +6, and the damage. There's actually 2 different listed here. One is, and it's not clear. There's no discoverability on this, but the gray one is if you're holding it with 2 hands. It's the versatile nature. So if it's versatile, there'll be 2 of these. Now, I've debated whether I was going to tell you this or not, and it looks like I'm about to tell you this. I think D&D Beyond is wrong, based on my reading of the rules. I know this is like heresy and incredibly controversial. Because D&D Beyond looks like it's right on so many things. But and I sent a message to my dungeon master, and he kind of sent me a quick email last night saying, I'll look closer. But at least it wasn't like no, Mark, they're right and you're wrong. But it has to do with the javelin.
Okay.
The javelin is, and the javelin is this thing that can be used either as a melee or a ranged weapon.
Sure.
And if you're using something as a melee weapon, you're going to use your strength modifier. If you're using it as a ranged weapon, you're supposed to use your dexterity modifier. Okay? And if the weapon is labeled finesse, see what I mean about the exceptions? If it's got this checkbox selected, which javelin does not, but if it does, it's finesse, which means the player gets to decide whether they want to use it with their strength or their dexterity. And that makes a big difference for Ava, because Ava's strength modifier is +3. I know this is heavy D&D, kids, but it's kind of an expression of the problem we're trying to solve here. Her strength modifier is +3, and her dexterity modifier is +0. So it's a big difference. Not only, and this modifier, the ability modifier we select, determines how much easier it is to hit and how much damage is done. Okay. So that's kind of what's going on here, right? So
do they get to pick which one it is, and also pick whether it's to be used in a ranged or melee fashion?
No, not really. Basically it's the pick for which one it's used determines how it's used, according to my understanding. And not only that, but if I say it's strength for melee, then my strength bonus, whatever that is, applies also to the damage. So both of these are modified.
Because it occurs to me that if there is a weapon that can be used in both those fashions, won't it deter? Well, sorry, my aggressor is either at distance, in which case there's no point me using it as a melee weapon. I'm not going to hit them. Or alternatively, they're up close, at which point I cannot use it as ranged. It's almost like that decision's been made for me.
True.
Based on who I'm attacking.
Yeah, and I think the Dungeon Master would almost weigh in on that as well. But I don't know. You might maybe be able to make some, story-based workarounds where you're like, well, okay, yeah, but you're gonna, use your dexterity to nail the hit, or something along those lines. Even though you're up close, you're right. You're gonna, do some sort of move to do it, to get it. So the javelin's not a finesse weapon, can be used in both melee and ranged attacks. I'm seeing, if we look at the javelin, I told you I wasn't going to tell you all this, but I'm in it. It can be used both ranged and melee, which means that we're going to use strength for the melee and dexterity for the ranged, which means there should be 2 entries for the javelin here, and there's only one. And so my contention is that this is incorrect. Anyway, I'm having our Dungeon Master weigh in on this, and I might, escalate this up to, a stack exchange, appropriate stack exchange. They've got a role-playing game, a stack exchange out there as well. If we're still at we're not sure on this. I am. What's going on with the net? The net has got a +3 bonus on it. And I'm just looking at the +3 bonus here. The net is thrown. It's ranged. Okay, got it. That's right. It's ranged. That makes sense. So we're going to use her dexterity, since it's ranged, a +0, right? And since it's +0, the damage is, there's no damage on it anyway. I was just going to say, so my contention is there should be 2. One for thrown, which shows you the ranged, and the other one is essentially a stabbed javelin here, where because we're using the strength, you get the proficiency bonus plus the ability modifier, a +6, like you see here and here. That's what I'm seeing. But when it's thrown, it should only be a +3, because her dexterity bonus is a +0. So if you're throwing her, she doesn't have great dexterity, that should be a +3, right? So there should be 2 different entries. And my contention is this is what they should be. That's what I think is wrong. In
principle, you sound entirely correct.
Yeah.
Because I see no way you could not throw a javelin.
That's the story of my life, Roy. And yet, I get slapped down everywhere I go. I say, hello. Oh, okay.
But imagine the glory when you are hailed as correct in the correcting of Beyond D&D.
No, I teach my kids it's not about the glory of the win. It's not. In fact, when they win or get trophies, I'm like screaming at them. It's not about the trophy. It is not about the trophy. And mom is going what are you saying to the kids? Right. But I'm trying to give them a sense that, because part of the problem is, if you make it about the end result of the competition, then you're you're living for a moment that is, totally out of your control. I don't know. I think I'm overkill with regards to the lessons of teaching the kids, to be honest.
Maybe not. Yeah.
All right. So we got test cases out here. Right now the app is running here. Let's just kind of double check it, review, and make sure everything seems like it's going well. Looks like I need to send some data over, some player data. And there we go. Now the data's filled out.
Merkin Bushwhacker.
And do the chaos bolt stuff that we were doing before. We had a breakpoint. Okay, we're at a breakpoint.
So I've got a question mark regarding the UI of the Dungeon Master, pseudo Dungeon Master app there. I've been wondering for a little while now, because is there any of those tabs that does not benefit from you sending player data?
Yeah, the player data is needed really just for this and for these. It's for the play and for these. Everything else can go without the player player
So
data.
from a pure UI perspective, would it not make more sense to put the initialize player data button on the players tab by all means, but have it be the first tab, i.e. the one that comes up by default, thus prompting you when you first launch the app, aha, I need to press this button at least once?
Yeah, I'm not sure on that, to be honest. I've actually thought about taking it outside of here and putting it right up here, just to speed things up for us. The other thing I thought about is, hey, when I change from here to here, if I'm on the players tab, I don't want to be on the players tab. I want to be on. I want to be here. So I can save myself a couple clicks. The reason I haven't made a change is because these are clicks that I'm saving in development, but not in the final run. When I do the final run on this, I'm only clicking this button once, and then I go here, and this part is set up, and so I don't mind it taking an extra kind of being hidden, because I really don't want it up here blocking once we're running. But when we're in test mode, it kind of makes sense to improve this. So that might be something we do in the future. And so let's just do this battle axe. Oh, I've not seen battle axe come up here for Ava. That one came up, but the two-handed one, and it drops right down. I think we saw this last night. Okay, there we go. That comes up and drops. So it's like it plays through only once, and I'm not sure why.
That is definitely different.
Greatsword
was just hanging around for a while.
Yeah, look at Greatsword. Greatsword's not. Oh wait, Greatsword for a second. It's like, I know what's happening. Okay, so check it out. So when I click on Greatsword, Greatsword's now up, but we can't see it for some reason that I don't know why. And then when I click to go to Battle Axe,
I gotta say, that's the greatest battle axe I could have imagined.
Yep, it has that side effect. When I go, Frackberg says you broke it. That's why. At least that's been my experience. Frackberg, you're. I don't see any reason why you next Tuesday when we resume the show that you're not going to have your own fanfare. I've been every morning. I'm like, if I had time, I'd be working on that now. I think about it. It's going to be like it's my favorite new fanfare that hasn't been created or invented yet. And
I've got to say, his logic is flawless, though. It's broke because we broke it.
Yeah,
he is correct.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So Greatsword should be playing still right now, and if I switch to another one, Javelin, we'll see the end of it play, which I'm like, what? I don't even understand how something we did could have changed that.
Is it? I mean, okay, it's almost as if the frames of animation for the repeating loop prior to the close loop are misallocated somehow, and they're not just being displayed. So is there a data fault somehow where, we've got a -1 and a -1 or a 0 and 0, and there's just no frames of animation whilst it is up?
I don't know. I do not know. But I have a feeling that it might have something to do with what changes we made over to our wind-up DTO class that's out here. If there's anything that could have done this, not weapon DTO, wind-up DTO. If there's anything that could have done this, the clone, I wonder if I'm missing stuff in clone, if something I've added. I don't know. I'm just having a... play to end on expire. Yeah.
C-Sharp Fritz is raiding with an almighty party of 60. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome.
Having a great day.
Welcome, kids. C-Sharp Fritz is with us here. If he says hi, you'll get to see his awesome fanfare. Thanks so much for the raid, Jeff. We super appreciate it. Yeah, we're just kind of going around. We got a bug in our special effects. We're thinking about maybe spending some time to look at that. Yeah, please defend against the raid. And there we go. We got a little bit of the special effects coming up, but they're not all of them. And it's all with the weapons. If I do the spell casting special effects, those are all working right there. So you can see there's my Chaos Bolt level 1, spell slot level 1. Chaos Bolt level 2 gets a little more intense. Chaos Bolt level 3, it just like goes a little crazy there, just like right there. So those are working, but the weapon effects are not. So something's changed there, and we need to figure that out.
Eva.
And basically,
So the weapon effects were definitely being moved from in-code specification to in-data specification, which is one of the things we were trying to achieve yesterday.
Yeah.
And I got to say, I thought they were working when I left. But I'm not 100% sure.
I don't remember that. Yeah, we went to data, and it was awesome because we went to basically this kind of a thing. So instead of all of this being declared in code, we started saying, well, here she's got a battle axe, and then we got some special effects on that. So it's all up here in the CSV where we're specifying the name of the effect. Right here, we can specify its scale, opacity, rotation, degree, its offset from within if it's a circular kind of thing. That's how we get the effects to kind of spin around, and we get to angle them, and go around my shoulders like that. All that is just data inside of a spreadsheet. For some reason, the weapons aren't playing at the very beginning, and I'm like, I think flabbergasted is essentially a good word for what I am on this. Let's look at the dragon game. We can set some data out here is what we can do. Oh, let's do this.
We seem to have a little flaw. The Signal R is not allowing chat to have any effect anywhere, so I cannot close the scroll. And C-Sharp Fritz's intro did not play when he said good morning.
Oh, okay. Well, then let's restart that. We'll do that. We'll get that thing restarted here. Let's do that. We're going to restart it. Get everything back in again here. And got the scroll. Thanks, Rory, for that. The overlays are there. I'm going to kill every instance of Chrome. And let's start up our overlays. And this should do that. Since we didn't get Jeff Fritz's intro. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, it's, oh, Jesus. I feel like I'm always in the wrong spot. Have you noticed that, Rory?
One could make that argument, perhaps.
All right, so let's just see if we get control now of this thing. I think we're reloading some stuff here, and I might have to do a manual refresh, but let's see if we can get let's see if we can get a drone coming out here. Nope, I'm going to need to do a refresh over here to get the on the OBS side of things. So let's refresh that. Refresh the dragon overlay. What'd you say, Rory?
I said that looks more promising. We have coins incoming.
Yeah. And the dragon back overlay. We'll refresh that. If we get to any dice rolling, we'll refresh that as well. All right, so those are reloading up here. So my thoughts on this were basically we might have an exception. That could really solve this problem fast and easy, right? So let's bring up the dragon front overlay, and let's bring up the inspection window on this. And I'm actually expecting to now see an exception reported here when we first start to try to show it. I'm hoping at least we get that. So
that at least would be a great pointer to a fault.
Yeah.
Nice obvious thing.
So let's do that. Stelzy79 says, wow, welcome everybody. Hey, glad to have you with us. WQ Walters out there. Uh-oh.
Is in the house.
Got some music playing there. Oh, baby, baby, my buggy code is killing me. I must confess I still go to when I'm not coding. I lose my mind. Give me a sign. Square root me, baby. One more time. Sorry, I'll turn down the Britney Squares music. Thanks, Will Bennett. Will Bennett is with us. Now we can write some good code. That part's awesome. Let's see if we can send something out here. I'm going to initialize player data. I'm going to change the player to Ava. Did I do that successfully? Initialize player data? I think I did. And switch to Ava. I'm noticing now we still don't have signal R control here. So it looks like something's wrong there with the signal R. Maybe at least. Well, you guys are flying.
From the chat room.
You guys are getting it from the chat room, which is great. But when I'm switching the pages on the app, we're not seeing them switch over here. Also on the Dragonfront overlay, I just realized, oh wait, actually that we won't see anything there on the Dragonfront overlay. That's only showing the front of the special effects. So let's see if we can actually get, this is some. So I'm going to hit Battle Axe 1, no error. Well, all right, fine. So we got to set a breakpoint. And this is, I bet this is my next prediction is, this all is going to look good. Is my next prediction. Here we go one more time, Battle Axe 2, two-handed. We're not even getting here to add windups? I don't understand that. How could we not be getting here? Let's go over to the D&D app. And
have you restarted the control center since we restarted the various
oh, no, I
web
haven't.
pages?
I haven't. That's why the signaler is not working from there. I have to restart both. Thanks, Rory.
No problem.
All right, one more time. Coming in here. This one's going to work. And maybe this time we'll also get a... okay, so back over here. Maybe,
there we go.
Maybe we'll get the so here's the player data. Now switch.
Eva.
There we go. That's what I was expecting to see. We'll hide her scroll. Clicking on Battle Axe 1H should get us to our breakpoint. But let me actually clear our breakpoint for a second. And let's just see if we get that. I'm really hoping to see an error in here. So let's hit the Battle Axe shortcut. Nothing. Okay, no errors. So now we're going to step through, and I bet this all is going to look good. Because how can the ending play, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, without this working. What's blowing my mind is why isn't the middle, the first part where it lifts up playing? I'm like stunned on this whole thing. We'll go through and look at the data. Here comes the Battle Axe two-handed. We're in the debugger. And let's just look through, see what we get here. So, I don't know, here's my wind-up right here. And hard to tell from just glancing at this if there's a problem on this. But if anything, I think it might have something to do with the lifespan.
Maybe.
Because I had changed some stuff with the lifespan. So we don't set anything there. I think there's a play to end on expire. Should be true. That's true as well. That data all looks good. Yeah, really hard to do. I don't even get why this isn't drawing. What's my initial starting frame index? Is 0. Makes sense also. Kids. I don't know who this guy is. He's got a secret identity. If only we knew. Regex? I think he's a programmer. Nah. Not Regex. I got it. Okay. That's Codeman Codes, people. Brilliant. Also brilliant programmers out there with us. Got great programmers out there helping us today. Yeah, I don't get it. I do not get it. That looked like good data right there. Then we're done. And that's out. So we need to figure out another place to set a breakpoint here. Yeah, I don't even get this right. It's the weirdest behavior in the world. It's like it says, I'm not going to draw or show anything. I almost want to start doing a difference. Biceps aren't bad either, says Will Bennett. Yeah. Yeah. Codeman Code says, look, up in the sky, it's an int. It's a string. It's Codeman Codes. Yeah. Codeman Codes is here. Everybody, we can calm down. Yeah. Really, really weird, unusual bug is what we've got here. I think the next place to look is when we are drawing or updating inside of here. And all wind-up effects. Let's just jump through here and see where we're... yeah, that doesn't make sense. Clear wind-up.
The thing is, the wind-ups are working for special effects. So, or do we use wind-ups for that? Special effects where the rings are around your shoulders and so forth.
Yeah, we're using wind-ups for that as well.
So the wind-up mechanic should be correct.
Yeah.
It's working when supplied, should we say, with the correct data. So something is, I don't know, we're getting unexpected data, should we say, which is leading to an unexpected effect when we are wielding a weapon.
That's kind of what it feels like. I guess we could do this on the upper level app out here. We could, let's just send some old data to it is what we could do. Let's set a breakpoint here. And let's change this around a little bit. I'm going to choose initialize player data, and I'm going to put all these back in here, and we're going to get rid of essentially all of that, I think.
Okay, so we're returning to our previous mechanic just to double check. Is it something to do with our new mechanic?
Bushwhacker, Ava.
And now I'm going to hit Battle X1H, and I see nothing. And then I hit Battle X2H, and yeah, we see the same problem where it does the ending animation only, not the beginning. So there's a lot of possibilities, like is it off screen and all of a sudden it jumps on screen at the end, right? I think we need to look at, what is going on with that? Let's look at Sanctuary a second. Sanctuary, I don't see the effect on me. If I switch to Shield of Faith, do I see Sanctuary on me? I'm not seeing anything. Is there an if condition wonky? Stealthy79 says. Yeah, I don't know. The thing that's bizarre is I'm not sure what is going on. So the good news is it's not with our data, which means it's kind of low level. Which means I'm wondering if I can go to source tree here and look at previous check-ins here of the, I don't think I have any changes here. I think this is a change that I checked in like earlier in the week. So let's go see what I've got here. What I want is this thing as big as possible. All right, so this is out in the overlay animation. So it's in this space right here. Dragon game. All right, so what do we got here? We've got this cast spell that we made changes to. And, opacity?
Interesting.
That might have something to do with it, but why would opacity? No, because I'm setting this code right here is in the windup. When we set it, could opacity be 0 on those? That would be a sweet, simple problem to solve if it was. Let's go look up at the, up here though. Let me undo this change here for a second. We've got the breakpoint still. We're going to come in here and I'm just going to hit undo. Like that. And so now we're back to the new data, run it. And I want to go look at the opacity for the windup. It's in a function called activate shortcut, I think. There it is. And clone windups. Calling wind up clone. Did I forget opacity here? I did. I wonder if that's the problem. I hope that's the problem. Wouldn't that be sweet? If that was the
good.
is that was the problem? Would you take that as Codebase Alpha says, congrats on getting to speak at the conference end of September. I think he's talking to me. What are you going to be talking about? I'm doing Science of Great UI.
Merkin Bushwhacker.
Is what I'm doing. I think they give me 30 minutes. So I've got my clone in here. What if that's my problem? Let's try, let's go to Ava and do her battle axe. And let's see what happens here. What's my opacity in there? I almost have a feeling that opacity is already going to be set to 1. Oh, it's not. Look at that. What am I thinking? Okay, so I think I need to do this. Opacity equals 1 here.
By default, you should see things.
Yeah, could that really be my problem? That I just totally, wouldn't that be so sweet if it was just that simple? Okay, and then the other thing we want to do here is we want to come in here and we want to also copy over the opacity. So we do both of those things. Why was the spell working? Why are the spell effects working? Let's just have the index reference, see if we can find an answer to that. From the player action shortcut, so we get the shortcut DTO defaulting to 1. It should be set to 1, but the clone could have killed it. That's what I think is maybe happening. But why were we seeing the others is the question. I wonder if, is that it? Did we fix it? Let's switch to Battle Axe 2. That's it. We fixed it. Holy cow.
Done.
All right. Switch over to Greatsword +1. All right. Okay, that was it, kids.
Woohoo!
I like that.
Back on track.
I like that so much better than where we were headed. This was not fun. Oh, Michael, watch out.
Michael Jolly is in the house.
Oh, no, we got rid of the sword, Michael. The sword. Michael,
Slice
please.
taco.
Every time I'm trying to help him, Rory.
Yeah.
He's like, he just runs into that sword, that great sword. All right, switch over to Javelin. Now I'm so happy everything works now. There's the Javelin. So cool. And we're data driven. So all these buttons are coming from the CVS file out there, right? And the special effects. We don't have the sound effects hooked up yet, I think. Do we? Do we not? Let's go look at our data.
I don't remember seeing them, but then...
I thought I had one in here. Whoops, let's close that. That's not what I want. Oh, I know why I don't see my data, because I shut down every Chrome instance. Let's bring it back up. All right. So shortcuts. I got a sound effect on Cure Wounds and Thunderous Smite. So let's just double check that real quick. So I come in here and I say Cure Wounds. Can I do Cure Wounds? Cure Wounds is like way off to the side, and yeah, I've got some problems here. Cure Wounds is there. There's a sound effect. And there we go. And Thunderous Smite.
Eva Wolfhard.
There it is right there. There we go.
Sound effects really do add another layer to that.
They totally do.
They're sort of real polished.
Yeah, when you are, so this is one of the things I've learned in some of the stuff that I've created with the kids or for the show, is that if you don't have sound effects, you have to trust that it's all going to go over the top once you add those sound effects, right? Yeah. It's visual plus sound equals suspension of disbelief, right? And if you have only one of the two of those, it's very clear that it's just that thing by itself. So.
I think it's also true to say that sound adds an element of realism. Like you say, suspension of disbelief. But I find when I play a game, and I think of it as a high quality video game, for example, it's usually because not just the graphics, but the sound is just like an actual tangible kind of nature to some of the things happening in it.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, no, I agree. So we should have sound effects when the weapon comes up. In fact, I've got
with that axe, Fred.
I've got a couple of sound effects. Let's test that all this is working still, because testing is good. I want to go over to quick access sound effects, and in the windups, I've got sword draw and sword slash. Let's try those. So we want to do both. So we're going to test battle axe. No, great sword. Sorry. Sword draw, like this. And over here, we're going to have sword slash.
Michael Jolly says, don't worry, Rory. Fred's tail can grow back. My comment about his axe. I'm not worried about Fred's tail. I'm worried about Mark, because that axe looks sharp.
Holy cow, we should totally have a tail behind Fred. It's so easy to do. Also, by the way, Fred has changed character. He went from like a fighter to a barbarian, which means he's got this rage feature, which means I think Fred is going to turn red when he rages. Or there's going to be some other, we're going to add more animations to Fred. So Fred, for folks who are new here, haven't seen this yet, Fred could kind of communicate with us a little bit. Fred, that's right, isn't it? Fred says yes. He can totally communicate with us. And Fred, you know what I'm going to do next, right, Fred? No.
That's a hell of a magic axe he's got there.
Isn't it awesome?
No hands.
Isn't it awesome? Yeah, it's awesome. No, I love it. It's awesome. And the other thing that's cool about it is, look, check out his hands come up in front of it, right? Like,
yes.
So we've got this sweet, cool little layering thing here of multiple effects, things like that are going on. Fred, who's better, bald coders or hairy coders? I think he means number one, the first one, bald coders is what I'm thinking he's liking there. Is that right, Fred? He's not exactly sure. Okay, who's your favorite coder on the show, though, Fred? Oh, cool. Thanks, Fred. I really appreciate that. But who are the most important coders on this show, Fred? It's the viewers. That's right. That's right. So anyway, that's Talking with Fred. Fred can say a few more things, but not all of them are appropriate for this show. Fred's going to be on twitch.tv/DragonHumpers with me, and I think we're actually going to start this thing in the next month. So sometime in September, we expect to start it and go live.
I don't care what time frame, what time zone this show is on. I have to watch this. I am so looking forward to it.
Yeah, the problem is I think you're going to have to do video on demand because we're doing it kind of late at night, and which is like 3 or 4 in the morning your time. So
I can do that at least once.
Yeah, maybe once, and then we'll probably find another time in the morning on the weekend if people are really digging it and loving it. So all right, so let's save this data out.
M1D10T, Midiot, perhaps, I don't know, is asking, can we explain a little bit what we have running right now? So to catch you up, Mark's just been talking about a separate stream that he's going to start running, a D&D game where him and some compadres are going to just go venturing with a dungeon master in the sort of usual D&D style fashion, but we're going to do it so much better than normal because we want to alleviate all of the work, or certainly a large part of the work that D&D dungeon master would normally have to do. All the calculation, all the dice rolls, all of the all the complex calculations. So rolling a D5 or D10, D20, or this, adding this, subtracting that. We've got character sheets that keep track of the various stats of the characters. This is going to be a stream, so the important characters who's actually acting at any given point will be drawn to the front, highlighted. Spells will affect them. They can cast spells and drink potions and all of that kind of stuff. So we're building the system that will help and it will alleviate as much of the effort as possible from the running of this stream.
Yeah.
And as a result, we're running OBS, which is looking at a web page, which is written in TypeScript/JavaScript, which is receiving commands over Signal R from a WPF app, which is again issuing those commands, which is sitting in background of stream right now. And a version of that will be available to the Dungeon Master to literally switch pages and to analyze stats and highlight things and just generally make everything so much more professional and polished and ease the running of the whole thing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. In fact, while we were doing this, I realized, we could take what we've done and turn it into a new company and make money off of this. Because I just realized, like, sports, like, we have the ability to spin graphic effects around players. And I was, like, thinking about this. I was thinking, oh, yeah, it wouldn't be hard to do the same kind of thing for sports shows and things like that. So, like, ESPN could be maybe a client or something like that. But anyway,
I love the way you described it at one point was ESPN for Dungeons and Dragons.
yeah, that's what it is. It's like, why you imagine ESPN style quality graphics and things like that for Dungeons and Dragons. So let's try Greatsword now and see if we hear, when I click on this, see if we hear the sword draw. Nope, I didn't hear it. And I was also going to see if we hear the other sound when it drops down. Nope.
Did the stream refresh after you changed the data, or did in fact the data get refreshed?
The data got refreshed. Only the data. The data should have totally gotten.
Did you save the data down to the CSV file?
I did. I did that while you were explaining things.
Okay.
Let's double check it. Let's go to possibilities are endless with this concept with streaming, says Jonathan Delfraise. Yeah, we focused entirely on Dungeons and Dragons, but this idea of live special effects, I'm loving. I'm loving that it's like this kind of new area where nobody, is really. I feel like we're totally pushing the limits on this show. Let's put it that way. And that's where I'm my happiest, is where people are saying, you can't do that, or it's never been done before. That's where I'm like, let's figure out a way to make it work.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, challenge accepted. Let's see if we can verify. Let's go to that our favorite activate shortcut, and let's jump out here and let's verify that we got a sound effect in the data. Okay. Wait a second. Hold on. Did I really mess this up? Am I not copying over the sound? I bet I'm not taking everything over. I bet I'm adding things here and not putting them down in the others. Isn't there a sound effect here or no? Effect, that's the name of it. Start sound, end sound. There they are. I bet I'm not cloning those either. I think I've just got some discipline problems here, right? As you might expect from me. Let's click on Greatsword +1. Okay, run it, and we're in the clone now. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. Do we have the sound effect here? Start sound. We do. And are we failing completely as I expected to do this? Yeah, we are. All right, so let's go to each one of these and hit tab to next reference to make sure it's down in our clone. So I'm going to hit the tab key there. It's there. Hit escape to come back. Go down to name, tab. It's in there. Go down to scale. Scale's in there. Let's go to opacity. We added that just moments ago. That's in there. Let's go to lifespan. It's in there. Fade in. It's in there. Oops, I saw fade out as well. So we don't need to do that. Flip horizontal. Not in there. Ooh. Oh, wait. No, it's there. I'm not sure why I thought I missed that. Okay, it's in there. Flip horizontal. Flip vertical is in there.
Yep.
It's in there. Okay. And it looks like I jumped around a little bit here. Hold on a second. Fade in, fade out. Hue. It's in there. Jump back up here. Saturation, brightness. We get those. Yep. We get those. I think I want to move this whole thing. I'm going to just cut that to the clipboard and move it up higher so we don't have these other stops along the way. So we just know it's the first hit. All right, so last one we did was hue, saturation, brightness. I think we did those three, right? And now we go to start sound, and we are in start sound. We got start sound, but end sound is not in there. Did I just add, I don't think I just added start sound, did I? I didn't do that. So what's going on? Oh, got some. Going through here, checking all of these, make sure so end sound wasn't in there. Start sound is. Play and expire is in there. There's the flip horizontal, flip vertical, and that's it. So it looks like all of them are in there. End sound was not in there. So but what's interesting is our start sound is definitely there with sword draw. And now we've got end sound. I'm going to just run this, but we're not hearing that sound. Let's figure that out. That could be the play decision problem. Remember I said we might have a problem in terms of playing the sounds? Who's going to play them? Let's go look into, let's go look at, oh wait, because it's the front layer. Yes, I totally know what's happening now. We need to go not here, but in the other app, our overlay app, and we need to go to Dragon Front Game. The problem is this. Dragon Game is the ancestor class. This is totally the problem. Inside here, there's going to be a play sound, I think, something like that. Play sound? Play wind-up sound? There it is. Here's the problem. Dragon Back Game implements it. Dragon Game does not. Dragon Back Game implements it. And the reason why, here's the problem, kids, is that the time to play the sound is determined when we add the wind-up. But add wind-ups for these special effects to work is happening on 2 different layers, 2 different levels. 2 different classes are doing it. So only one class should be responsible for this. Okay? Which by default I've implemented in the Dragon Back Game. So if we do this and we do tab to next reference, nothing's happening in the ancestor because I don't want the sound to be played twice.
Okay.
But, however, now that I think about it, what's Safe Play MP3 do? Let's look at this. I think Safe Play MP3 return audio. Let's jump into that. We are checking to see if we played it recently. So I could actually safely put it in the ancestor class. And we just get 2 calls to play the same sound. And we're like, wait, we already started this. And we're out. It's perceptive. It's a little bit inefficient, which I don't like, but it's undetectable by a human. A human, you're not going to see any evidence that it's inefficient. So now I'm thinking, let's do that. Let's fix that. So let's go to Dragon Back Game. Let's look at its play sound, and let's kill this right there. And let's go back to the ancestor and put it in the ancestor instead. And, we need a sound thing here. Hold on. Dragon Back Game has got a class called Dragon Front Sounds, I think. Dragon Front Sounds. And there it is right there. I think we need to do, I think this is used for more than just that one. Yeah, we do the shield up. The blood gush is all happening here on the front sound effects. So we'll create something very similar to this down inside of Dragon Game. And we're going to call it, we're doing spell effects, which I think I need to get rid of. We're going to put it in here. And let's do this, do that. I think the code I have down below is Dragon Back Sounds. There we go. And I need to initialize it in our constructor. So I need that code there. We're calling it Back Sounds. And then I'm going to actually change this to Dragon Shared Sounds, like that. And so it's going to go from there. This, I think, is going to fix the problem. We're going to get, like I said, we're going to get 2 calls to go play it, but we're going to be like, hey, you know what? We just did that. So we're not going to hear it twice. What's my problem here? Dragon Back Sounds.
Back Game is, it's redeclaring that now.
Hold on. I don't actually want it. I just want it to be of type Sound Manager. Is what I want to do. What's the problem, Roy?
You're declaring Dragon Shared Sounds both in Dragon Game and in Dragon Back Game.
Got it. Oh, I renamed it here too. Dang it. Okay, that was not good. I'm gonna change this to Dragon Back Sounds, and
which did not affect that one there. Interesting.
There was one it didn't affect. I didn't see that.
Well, I only meant because I thought you were doing an actual rename rather than change of text.
No, I'm just changing only in this file right here. I'm just looking through, making sure I'm staying in Dragon Back Game here to get all these back to that. Okay, good. Let's go back over to Dragon Game, and I don't want it to be of type Dragonfront sounds. I just want it to be of, oh shoot, that's not what I wanted. I wanted it the Ancestor class, which is just the sound manager. I created this sound class and did a bunch of stuff, and then I realized, oh, you know what? I'm not really using it that much, and I really want to get rid of it. So that we're just going to make it of type sound manager right there. And then that means this is going to be a sound manager like that. Okay? That I think is the fix. So that means now if we go into our Dragon back overlay and refresh it, and our Dragon front overlay and we refresh it, I think we got a shot of this working. I'm going to send the player data over. So we'll we'll do the same thing we've been doing. Send over the player data. Yep. Switch to Ava.
Bushwhacker. Ava.
And let's do a great sword and listen. See, do we hear the... Oh. Clear that. Run it. There we go.
Ooh,
and now let's
very nice.
Switch to another player. We should hear that slice down.
Merkin Bushwhacker.
All right. That's not
Great
bad.
Stuff.
It's not entirely in sync, but it's not bad. That also means, here, let's go refresh the dice on this page. And let's hide that scroll. Let's initialize the data again one more time now that we've refreshed that. Okay. The dice have been refreshed. Ava. So now it looks like
Merkin Bushwhacker.
Gameplay looks like this. It's Ava's turn. She says, I want to use my greatsword. That sets up the damage, the extra dice, all of that. It looks like it's not quite correct. We're going to work on that next, I think. And we roll the attack. The attack dice come out.
Nice.
She gets a reroll on the 1 right there because it's...
Spectacular miss.
Oh, she misses, though. She doesn't get a reroll. And then that didn't quite sound and look right when it was a miss. It looked like she disappeared a little bit. Let's try that one more time. Let's bring up the greatsword again and run the attack. There's a hit, and she's going to re-roll that 1 because she's got that great weapon fighting. Oh, she just gets a 1 again. But now she's got damage, and now...
And there's going to be some damage.
It was way behind. The sound effect seemed like it was way behind on the drop. Let's see what's going on over here in the chat room. I missed a couple of things right here. I can't wait till you get the effects to follow the person in their hands. That's going to be awesome. Yeah, that's probably months away is my guess because we're going to have to figure some stuff out. Maybe, at least 2 months away, I would guess. But that would be very cool, right? So if as your player moves, the effects follow you. Maybe change that to use reflection to do the clone. Oh, that's an interesting idea, Will. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. I didn't see your seatbelt buckled and your tray in the locked and upright position, buddy. That's Will Bennett saying that to Jetsam. Pretty heavy. I rewatched the explanation. Nice stuff, guys. Says M1D10T. Thanks for that, Rory. How about voice control? No. I think voice control has been struggling to be a UI, mechanism for about 30, 40 years. I remember about 30, 40 years ago, I had a piece of hardware that allowed voice control, and it's just not good for a number of reasons. One of them is the feedback loop, right? It's really hard to get a tight feedback loop. Even if you're talking to a human being, it's so much easier to hit a button to get the thing you want and faster than to tell a human being, hey, can you hand me that thing over there and give it to me, whatever that is.
Yep.
So yeah, even human beings are pretty slow at it. Coming Code says, one little hiccup in internet speed and quality goes to 360p. No thanks, I'll take my 1080 back. Interesting. Since Win95, actually everyone has it, a voice control. Yeah. No, I'm just not a fan.
They have something. It's just, we're arguing the quality isn't where it needs to be for speed, for sort of fluidity of experience almost.
Right. The other problem with this is that voice is a huge part of the game. And I want players to be able to say anything without, having to worry about, somebody coming in and saying, Roger that, committing suicide, or whatever.
So here you are, there's the three of you discussing your battle plan, and suddenly the system is reacting as if you've done it. And oh, no, I didn't mean that.
Yeah. So I have this problem all the time. If I'm in a really noisy room and I'm on the phone and it's voice command and they don't give me buttons to hit as an alternative, that the kids in the room will trigger. The kids screaming in the room will trigger voice commands. And I'll be suddenly in a menu I don't want to be in, and I'm just rolling my eyes and cursing at the developers, imagining in this fantasy world that I've found my way into the developer room with these guys, and I'm like, what the heck are you guys doing, right, with this? So yeah. Alexa replies, Mark who? Yeah. Open the pod bay doors, Alexa. I turn on my father's Alexa all the time when we FaceTime, says Jonathan Delfraise. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. And then if you hook your Google Home or your Alexa up to your security system, then people can come out impersonators can come near your window and say, unlock the doors, and Google Home will be like, certainly, and then they're in. So
disarming system now.
Yeah, disarming system now. Initiating self-destruct system for the home. Right? So they have those in spaceships, Rory. I've always wanted to build one, so I built a self-destruct system for the home in case things get really bad, right? Because I want to be like an evil bad guy with a layer. Got to have a self-destruct system.
Got to have a layer, got to have self-destruct.
It's not just for movies. So, cool. All right.
People take advantage of audio systems like that all the time. I remember back in university, just a friend of mine got a simple little thing for his keychain. So in case he lost his keys, he could whistle and the thing would start beeping. It was incredible how quickly we all learned to whistle at exactly the right pitch from across the house.
Nice.
Just constantly setting it off. He didn't keep it very long.
Copper Breeder says people don't realize these voice device providers take random samples from users for quality management and often pick up a conversation that are not meant for it. Yeah, that might be happening. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure about that. I am not my primary concern on, I don't have an Alexa. I don't have a Google Home in the house. I've had the kids with the Google Home. We built one as an experiment. But in general, I'm not at that level yet where I'm like, this is going to, the benefits are going to outweigh any kind of security concerns. My security concerns are not high. I think I can beat Alexa in a fight. Like if it came down to it, I think I can.
Well, it depends. If you give her the nuclear launch codes, I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're right. Don't give her the codes. But my focus is on UI and great usability, and so I'm just not at a point yet where I'm like, where I'm seeing that that's going to provide the benefit. And I should also say that I have not spent a lot of time exploring it. I haven't used Alexa at all. I've used Google Home a bit, and that's it. But my conclusion on Google Home is you've got the same problem where, if you want to get a lot of things done efficiently, voice is not the way to do it. It's super tough to do it with voice. I keep triggering Will Bennett's tail every time I say that word. That's gonna be the new Voldemort on the show.
You mean Alexa? Alexa, set a timer for Will.
Set a timer for Will.
10 minutes.
Remind Will that he's awesome in 10 minutes. I named my dog Goober, so anytime I call him, it ends up triggering my Google Home. Okay, nice. Blackbird says. That's nice. I like that too. All right, so we let's get some friggin' work done. The stuff we were meant to do. The stuff we were destined to do on this show. So what we got to do here is we need to get some tests passing. We got to this point yesterday. Yesterday we were in Activate shortcut, and I had to do this hard stop to the show because I had kids all alone in Costa Rica that needed to be picked up. So I'm like, all right, fine, I'll go pick them up. But I was kicking it yesterday, Rory. Just in terms of I was not screwing up again and again and again, which for me is kicking it. And so I was loving that. But I had a hard stop and we left in this Activate shortcut. We were just kind of figuring out what the modifiers, the 2-hit modifiers were on this. And and I wrote some code, and I think the test code is not passing. I closed the app. Let's bring up the test runner and let's run them. And you can see from my last run, I think that was this morning I ran this. And we got one not passing. Let's go take a look at that. And let's see if we can figure out why and see if we can fix it.
Sounds like a plan.
It's the D&D rules problem. Test to hit and bonus damage die. So let's go look in there. So yeah, our damage dice are not coming back correctly. And let's see what we got. It was expecting a 1d8 plus 3 slashing, and it got 1d8 slashing.
Well, it's close.
I'm going to put a CodeRushed issue out on this. Hold on. So we are, hold on. While I do the CodeRushed issue, Rory, you do the, you talk about,
really need. Alexa, please add a CodeRushed issue 4.
Maybe. So we got to tell everybody about what we're doing with CodeRushed here. Why am I reporting a CodeRushed issue?
So essentially what we're doing is not only are we broadcasting some sort of coding experience, this is us dog fooding the product CodeRushed, which is made by DevExpress and is designed specifically to make you more proficient, more efficient when you're coding, to do things for you, to aid you in doing things. And since we are dog fooding it and we have found a bug, as Mark would like to suggest here, we are adding a reference to this point in the video regarding a conversational piece about what is the bug. Okay, and effectively we are automating the reporting of bugs. So Mark has got a little command there that he can type and hit the chat room. The same signal our system that picks up our commands to drones and to various forms of special effects picks that up, grabs an email, creates an email, that is to say, with some attachments of the logs that are present in CodeRushed, and adds a time code with a link into that email and sends it to the developers. Yeah. So basically the quickest form of reporting a bug with the most accuracy regarding where it is. Yeah, so they can come and pick up on the conversational piece that we've got.
Yeah, I just realized I have the dash log in here and I don't need it, but because I don't need to send log files. This is actually like an enhancement request, but notice the difference. I'm just looking at the differences here between these two, and I see that what our difference engine is comparing the beginning, but I'd like our difference engine to also compare the ending and see that the endings are the same and only highlight the +3 as the missing piece. That's what I want here. So that's the feature request there that we that on our test results we have a different, we enhance the difference engine here, so it works from both front and back. Riker is William Riker and Crusher is played by Will Wheaton. So both my dogs are really named Will. Will, that's awesome.
Will has 2 dogs and they are both called Will.
My dogs are named Einstein and Tesla. Tesla because she's a smart dog, and Einstein because she's an idiot. And I'm like, come over here, Einstein. Geez, Einstein. And she's like, what? Okay, here I come.
Quack, 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 quack. Hello.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, Einstein is like, I've eaten something expensive. I'm like, no.
See what I did? Quack, 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 quack.
Now you have only one shoe. It's good. Yeah, Einstein also brings in bones from Costa Rica, like sometimes huge bones, sometimes you don't want to ask what that bone came from kind of bones, and sometimes like skinnier, longer bones. And we're just like, what are you doing? Stop bringing them in the house. She's like, oh, what? That's my dog. That's Einstein. It's
one day around about Easter time, when tradition suggests over here, certainly in England, that some form of roast dinner or nice meal is prepared. Our dog had disappeared. And we weren't entirely sure where it was. And then suddenly, whistle for the dog. Where are you? Where are you? Comes in one door, carrying a roast joint of some description, and goes straight out the back door. And we all look at each other and go,
that's
really
funny.
Not what we're having today.
Yeah.
It's not our dinner.
That's really funny. I know.
Where did that come from?
Yeah. I thought you were going to say, and we whistled for her, and then the guy's keys. We found the guy's keys. So
yeah, well, interesting link, but no.
So anyway, all right. So we're missing our +3 inside of the dice.
Okay.
And I think we got to figure that out. Let's figure out how we're calculating the dice, where we are assigning to that. And this is all code that's not working. We've commented
on the hardwired stuff.
Yeah, the hardwired stuff.
We have since improved that, and we have stuff that loads from our CSV file.
Yeah, I think it's actually not even going to be in this file. It's in Just got a lot of reference to these. Here we go. Add spell. Okay. Yeah, so this is super cool. For the spells we got, this is code we wrote a couple days ago. We're doing the get here on the spell. So like say, for example, Chaos Bolt, we pass in the player and the spell slot level. And that calculates the correct dice string for spells. So that part is correct there. Now here, this is, I think, about the space we want to be in here.
It's a damage stir there.
Yeah. So if damage string is not null, then it's the damage stir. I'm feeling this is around our breakpoint that we want to be in and we want to take a look in. Pudding is out there.
Hey, Pud.
I like that sprite a lot there. Okay, we're going to set a breakpoint here, I think. And is dice modified or changed anywhere else? Nowhere else. Somewhere we got a 2-hit modifier in the shortcut DTO, I think. I want to I'm going to drop a marker here, but I also want to jump back to where we were with a spell effect. Because in here, somewhere, there's code I wrote somewhere from DTO. Is it here? There's code I wrote somewhere that get dice string. This is the code I'm interested in, I think. Yeah. So die roll details. This is what we're going to need to use. Die roll details is should have some properties in here or no? Oh, it's got a list of rolls. So I can pass it a string, comma separated list of die rolls like 1d6, comma 2d6 or 2d8s, comma 3d12s necrotic. That could be my die roll string. Then it's going to break those into rolls. And each roll is going to have a count for the number of dice, a string which is going to be like a d6 or something like that. The number of sides. Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry. Descriptor is not. Descriptor is going to be like, let me put a comment out here. It's going to be like necrotic, e.g., hold on, e.g., necrotic, for example, or fire. Like that's the kind of damage the dice is going to do, cold, etc. Like that. So it's going to have a descriptor. It's going to have a number of sides for the die and an offset. This is the piece that we're coming in at 0.
That's the missing bit, yeah.
Yeah, that's the missing bit. So what we're going to need to use to solve this, we're going to need to use die roll details. In fact, I just realized we need test cases for die roll details because I don't think we have test cases for die roll details. Oh, we do. Look at that. Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. Never mind. Look at this. I look like a real programmer here.
You're really organized there.
Yeah, so this is basically we're just coming here to check to see, hey, this is, and I'm going into, look at this. I'm getting Cure Wounds cast at spell slot level 1 through 7 from a 5th level spellcaster with their spellcasting ability modifier. So I'm passing that data in, and it comes back and says, I know what the dice string is going to be, like that. So we're going to need to do that. We don't have, do I have anything that does the from? Yeah, I kind of have it here. I have a test that does make sure that the from is equal. So if we do a from and then we ask it for its die string, in other words, I was just wondering, do I have a test that looks something like this? R equal, let's say 3d12, like that, die roll details dot from a string 3d12, like that, and dot die string. Oh,
So
wait.
effectively a serialized, deserialized kind of check.
Yeah, dot roles. I got to assume there's only going to be one role in there, dot die string, like that. Yeah. This is essentially what it is. Dot, wait, a toString. Right there.
Yep.
That should pass. Let's go ahead and run that just to verify that that passes like we're expecting. That's the test. So die role details we're going to need to use. There you go. Sweet. Okay. Happy about
So
that.
technically, are we expecting now that the equivalent with maybe a +1 or +3 in it would not work because something about the serialize, deserialize is not carrying that part over? Because that's the piece we're missing, and that was why I had a difference.
No, I'm confident serialization is working. Let's do this just to prove it. Let's do this. Let's come in here and we'll do an introduce local on this, and we're just going to say that's the role, and then we're going to come down here and we're going to say role dot offset equals 4, and then we want to come in here and we're going to come down and say this should now be 3d12 plus 4, like that.
Okay, good.
And then we should also be able to say dot descriptor is equal to, and I think it's without the parens, but I'm not sure on that. And then we want to come down here and we want to say 3d12 plus 4, and I think it's going to go here, necrotic, like this. I think.
That sounds pretty reasonable.
Let's see. We'll find out. It sounds reasonable, but we'll see. If I was thinking when I wrote this, and I always forget when I write stuff, which is why test cases and everything else. It failed, and it failed here. It looks like I need parens.
But it failed on the necrotic, and the +4 did work.
Yeah. So the descriptor does need parens. Okay. I'm okay with that. Fine. All right. So there we go.
In any case, our serialization, deserialization is above reproach right now.
Yeah, it's above reproach. If reproach was coming at us, we would be like, yeah, we're above you. Your reproach would go right underneath us. Okay, so let me hit escape to jump out to that marker. I dropped out wherever the heck we were, out on, I think, activate. Where were we? Here, right here. And from enhanced. So here's where I think the problem is, right here. And I think with the shortcut DTO, yeah, we've got a 2-hit modifier. And I don't think it's being used inside from enhanced here. Let me just do a breakpoint in here. Drop a marker and let's see 2-hit. It's not being used inside there. Okay, so I think what the code looks like, should I just write the code or should we set a breakpoint and do it with data? You have a preference on that, Rory?
I like the writing of code.
Let's just do this. Let's write the code. Fine. Die roll details dot from diester, like that. Mm-hmm. Let's do it down here. What do I have on the clipboard? Oh, I got that 2-hit modifier on the clipboard. I want to keep that. So let's do it out down here after we set the diester. So we're going to say it's equal to that. Declare local for that. Those are my details. Then I'm going to say die roll details dot offset. Dot roles. Okay. Only one of these. We can only modify the offset on one of these. And to be really professional, if only, let's say that we might be encountering something like this. We might have a 2d6, comma, 3d12 plus 1. Or something along those lines. You might have, right? And now let's say that our 2-hit modifier, so that's our string, and our 2-hit modifier was equal to 2, plus 2. Then that would mean our expected result out of this whole thing would be, we could do 2 different ways of doing this. We could say, well, it's 2d6 plus 2, like that, which we could do. We'd modify the first one always, or we could find the one that's got a non-zero offset and turn it into that, right there. And I was thinking, well, that's really what we want to do for human readability, so we don't have a bunch of pluses in here. But we don't have a lot of these that had pluses in. In fact, almost all of these are going to have no pluses in here. Well, they might have the spellcasting modifier, and in that case, though, it just starts out like this, and it's the first one. So I think I'm just going to modify the first one, is what I'm suggesting. So we just got to make sure that our count, well, let's do this. Let's do this dot count. Oh, dot roles dot count, sorry. Dot count is greater than 0. Then we're going to come down in here and we wanted to say dice roll details of 0 dot offset. Come on. Oh, dot rolls of 0, sorry. Dot offset plus equals my 2-hit modifier, which, by the way, is calculated as, hold on, I think 2-hit modifier might be a double. No, it's an int. What's my problem? Object reference is needed. Result. Is it my result? No, wait, what's that? Where are we here? We're in from player action shortcut. Yeah, so it's in result. Do I have my 2-hit modifier calculated by then is my question, I think. What's going on with the 2-hit modifier? What does it need? It needs a proficiency bonus, and the proficiency bonus is calculated down here, which is after the code I have. So we need to, all of this needs to drop down. Let's just make sure dicer is not used anywhere else. Just in this space. And damager is not used anywhere else. Yeah, it's just in that space. Okay, great. So we're going to take all of this, and we have to do it after we've calculated our proficiency bonus. What's the ability modifier? Uh-oh. We got an ability modifier down here too. Let's do that. And we're going to do this and put it here. So there's our calculation. And Roy, what do you want to say?
Pudding's just asking what the question mark is for and what was previously line 241. However, that's now moved to 268. I believe that's, I don't know, is that the null coalescing operator? I forget if that's the actual name. Essentially, it means assuming that this thing is not null, then
yes,
you can proceed further into the statement and get the next piece. Null coalescence operator. There we go. Cobas alpha correcting. That's very good. Essentially, yeah, it's a null checking simplification. Nice bit of syntactic sugar. Otherwise, you'd have to go, if this is not null, then check the next piece. And you can do it in a chained fashion. So you can go A question mark dot B question mark dot B C question mark dot, and it will work its way all the way through there.
Yeah,
allowing you to write nice simple code.
Yeah, so these two lines of code are essentially equivalent. This line and the line below it. That's my understanding of it. Okay, so we're modifying the offset. Then we want to come right back here, and we want to say dicer plus equals, or I'm sorry, is equal to dice roll details dot toString. Like that. And now, the only thing is, though, is that if it starts with a this, would this, the prefix, let's do this instead. Let's protect against that potential problem. We're going to say, is instant dice, and we'll say that's equal to that. Dicer starts with this. And then I want to say if down here, if is instant dice, then dicer is equal to dicer substring. Okay, so I've done that, and then down here, I'm just going to say, well, we're going to say the instant dice. And instant dice are needed when, if they click the shortcut, we just immediately do a roll, which is not always the case, but sometimes that is with spells and things like that. So now, because dice roll details doesn't know anything about whether it's instant or not, they don't. So I don't have any accommodation for that. So we're just stripping it out there. I might put it in it, but for right now, that's what I'm feeling. So let's run it and let's set a breakpoint. See if we've got any problems here. Step through the code. I suppose I should have actually done this in the test case scenario.
Yeah. Done now.
We can look at it in both
Big
places.
love nuts.
Okay, so let's initialize the player data. And here we're in our first call to from enhance here. So we're loading up all the pieces. So we got 1d8 slashing. So this is Ava's probably the first thing in the in here. It's probably the battle axe. There's no dice ring here, notice. So battle axe going in here, battle axe is 1d8 slashing for the one-handed. 1d10 for two-handed. Sweet so far. Now that we're looking to see this, though, we want Ava's battle axe. Uno momento. We want to be able to, we want Ava's battle axe to be a +6 to hit and a 1d8 +3. So our damage we're looking for is a +3 on here. So that's what we're hoping to see. So if it's instant, we're going to do that. We're not instant. Got the dice roll details, 1d8 slashing. If the roll count's greater than 1, then we're going to say offset. Our 2-hit modifier is +6. That's our 2-hit. Oops. That's not our we're adding that to our damage, though. That's wrong. This code is wrong. It's not our 2-hit modifier. We want our plus modifier, and the ability modifier is what we want to do here. So what we really want is we want to create something else kind of close to this, which is going to be called our damage modifier, like that. Our damage modifier, and that's just going to be our plus modifier. That's the plus of the weapon, like a +1 weapon or something like that.
That's a bug.
That's a bug. And that also means that our 2-hit modifier could be our damage modifier plus our proficiency bonus. I could do that.
Yep.
Although when you look at the rules specifically say it's these. I think I'm going to keep it like that, even though normally I wouldn't, but because this is easier to read if you've got the rules right next to you, right there. So now we want to add the damage modifier. So let's go find that 2-hit modifier. Oh, I had the wrong thing there. It's the damage modifier we want to add. And, but that also means somewhere in here that we want to say do we have a result.2-hit modifier in here? 2-hit modifier we do. Is it already calculated? It is. Sweet. Okay, so that's all cool. So we're just going to come in here, hit F10, and now our offset is 3, and now we've got 1d8 +3 slashing. Does it line up? It does.
It does.
Sweet.
Which should now mean that our test passes.
Yeah, it should mean that, shouldn't it? And it should also mean that when we come in here to Ava and we click on her battle axe one-handed, we should see in this field 1d8 +3 slashing.
There you go.
And if I switch to two-handed, we should see that change to 1d10 plus slashing. Oh, yes, that's super cool because all of this is data-driven, right? It's all coming from the spreadsheets, whereas before we created one battle axe that was two-handed, another one that was one-handed, and I didn't realize at the time when I was filling in the data from the spreadsheet, from here, when I was filling this in, that these were going to change when she leveled up, right? As she levels up, if her proficiency bonus changes, this is going to change. If her strength changes, this will change, right? Even in the game, if she were to be affected like by a potion that were to weaken her, these things would change.
And now Dungeon Master doesn't need to remember any of that, just needs to set the initial starting scenario, and then it's a fire and forget effect. Everything just
is calculated. Yeah, super sweet. Let's see what the greatsword. The greatsword should look like 2d6 +4. Also, our 2-hit bonus, we should be changing the modifier. We're not doing that here. So look at this. When I do this, this modifier should change to the +6. So let's change that code so the modifier is going in there as well, because we want to do that. That's over here in our activate shortcut. What if I just did ASHO activate shortcut? There it is right there. Okay, so here we want to, I think no matter what, somewhere in here there's, let me drop a marker here. I want to find I think it's going to be like TBX modifier. There it is. So we're setting it here. Oh, but are we setting it again down below? That's it. Here's the problem. Hold on. I've got this thing called a plus modifier. Okay, the plus modifier, yeah, no. Yeah, because what'll happen, yeah, this code is yeah, and I've even got it to do here. Fix this so we calculate the modifier and the damage die string for weapons. So I'm going to comment all this out. That's what I'm going to do. Oh, I can't because I need a breakpoint. All right, let's set a breakpoint, and let's click a button. Okay, there's a breakpoint. And let's comment this out or delete it if we're bold enough to delete. And then why isn't my to-it modifier used above as well, though? That's the thing I don't understand. I've got a line of code here for if we don't have spells. And if we do have spells, I'm not using it. I think it applies to both. I actually think the code should go here. And this is gone. And this keep existing modifier is a little tricky. We need to, I'm going to comment this out for now. But I'm going to basically come in here and I'm going to say tbx modifier dot text is equal to plus this oh, I see what I'm doing. I'm doing this. Yeah, it's not bad. Hold on. This I got to do something with keep existing modifier. I got to figure out what's going on with this. So let's set it to do here, deal with that. Then I want to come down here and I want to say this is equal to, and it's not the plus modifier, it's the to hit modifier. Action shortcut. Wait, what is going on here with action shortcut? There we go. That was weird. There. And the same here. And then what I want to do is I want to, let's just run this for now.
Okay.
Drop a marker around that so it reminds me to come back to this again. And let's bring the code execution up to here. Like that. So modifier jumps to 6. There you go. There's the +6 for the battle axe 2H.
That's better.
+6 for that. And when I hit this should go to +7, and the damage should be +4 on this. So the damage for the greatsword should be 2d6 +4. So let's see if we see that. And this should be +7. So here we go. Greatsword, +7, 2d6 +4 slashing. Sweet.
Boom.
Switch it. Listen to the sound effect. Sweet. 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 Javelin should be 1d6 +3. Well, actually, I think Javelin's going to, I don't know what Javelin's is going to do, to be honest. I've only got one here. I got 1d6 +3 piercing with +6 to hit. Okay, well, it does match them because I'm not doing anything special yet, I guess, for that.
That's right. You've only got your data that they have, so yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's wrong, is what I think. Dance and Javelin. Yeah, there's the Dance and Javelin right there. So yeah, we do those. I'm pretty happy about those sound effects, right? Get a couple more in. It's not too hard to do those. In fact, it's just now occurring to me in our data sheet here. This is the cool thing about having everything in data sheet instead of code, is I can do the sword draw and sword slash, these two, for my battle axe. And I don't know about anything else necessarily. Battle axe right down here. I can do it here for that. We can also have cool sound effects where the spell winds up and the spell dissipates too. So yeah, in fact, I might have an end sound on a hit and an end sound on a miss. So two different ones.
Yeah,
right?
that makes sense.
Or maybe just a hit sound and a miss sound, something like that.
Because you've got the hits flesh / armor / whatever,
Right.
but also slices through air and nothing.
Right, and I'm thinking it's interesting because I'm like thinking also about hits. The hits might be a property of the material being hit, right? So you might have a different sound effect depending on what you're going to hit. Okay, so with that, let's send this out. Let's do a download of this data as well. And there's shortcuts. And that's in my data folder. So the next time we refresh, we'll have those. I'm almost inclined to just refresh right now. Let's do that. Do a reinitialize of the data. So that reloads the data, which means now if we come in and do a battle axe, we should hear the sound as it comes up. There you go. And switching to another weapon, we should hear the slicing sound as it comes down. Yeah. Good. Okay.
This is nice. It's coming together pretty well.
Yeah. In fact, I'm thinking that's kind of where I wanted to be. I'm not sure where I want to go next on this. Let's run our test cases because that would be nice to verify that the test cases are all passing. Fred, you want to let us know what you think about this, Fred? Fred says he needs a refresh on the Dragon front overlay here, and I'm going to say, okay, let's refresh that here. That's where special effects are. And then Fred also says I need to reinitialize the data as well now that I've refreshed him. So I guess I got to go run this real quick. Fred says he's thinking about that answer, Codebase Alpha. Totally thinking about it, and he's going to.
You can see the look of concentration on his face there.
He's going to give you an answer. It has
Serious thought go.
nothing to do with anything happening behind the scenes or the curtain. Don't look behind the curtain.
Leave it, love nuts.
Player initialized data. And did that not happen? I'm hitting the button. There we go. Okay, so there it happened. That means now Fred can do a thumbs up now. There you go. Fred does a thumbs up. Cool. That's what Fred thinks about it. Okay. And now I've closed down the app, but I should still be able to control Fred. Isn't that right, Fred? Can I still control you? What? I can't with the app shut down?
Oh,
I didn't know that. Like, what is running in this app? Oh, it's taking... Yeah, I think we are controlling Fred from this app. That's why we can't do it. Okay. All right. So, but let's just do the test runner and see if how we're doing here.
and with the app shutdown, we also cannot issue commands to close down the scroll that is blocking the test runner.
That's true. Can we do, and test close doesn't work either.
Nah.
Okay. Well, let's
Sadly.
get the test results out of this. And we have this problem that I was having before. Let me send a message over to devs. This time, I think we can do that. Hold on one second. CodeRushed issue. Where's my mouse cursor? There in the chat room. Okay, and this is going to be a test runner issue. Test runner, no tests found. Let's pop that out over there. And did I get an exception? Shoot, this is the same place we got an exception yesterday. I'm gonna have to. You have to do this manually. Input string was not in a correct format, and that's the problem we got. We got over in this space. So I'm gonna keep running this right here, Rory. But though, if you can get,
I got a time code.
yeah,
Yep.
get a time code. Send me that email. Include me as well, and I'll attach my logs to that so the devs can look at that with it. And we're going to look and solve that problem later. In fact, actually, this is what, let's go, do we have time? Do I want to do that today? Do I want to go out and take a look at, Legendary Moo had some changes out there. Is Legendary Moo with us right now? You out there,
I
Legendary
have
Moo?
not seen any chat from Legendary Mood today.
Yeah, he may
Just
not
checking.
be with us.
Don't believe he's in the chat room at the moment.
All right,
no.
maybe we'll save this for next Tuesday. So he's got a pull request out here. We'll take a look at that next Tuesday when he's with us, and let's restart. Did I shut down Visual Studio? I did not. Let's restart Visual Studio so the test runner can find those tests. Actually, what I should have done is brought up the Visual Studio test runner to see if we could find it as well, to verify that it was a CodeRushed problem and not some other problem. We'll get that. I can get rid of the scroll manually here. Why is Fred a lizard man?
I was thinking about that. There are two good answers. One involves his mummy and his daddy being people. But this is obviously, family-friendly show. And my other
That's
really good
a family.
answer is,
You can't get more family-friendly than making a family, I think, right?
well, there
Am I going to get in trouble just for saying that?
there's
Okay.
an axis where that answer exists, and there are variations of your exact answer there that maybe don't work. The other answer is, why not?
Okay.
Why not?
And-
Fred be a lizard man.
I got a third answer for you. Fred has come up from playing Dungeons and Dragons. We won him in Dungeons and Dragons. There's a deck of cards called the Deck of Many Things, and it's filled with a bunch of really horrible things and a couple really good things. And Fred was one of those things that we drew. We drew I think I drew 6 cards. And out of that, I had one bad thing, which is a demon has basically cursed me and is going to try to has made it his life mission to destroy me.
So this is a deck of cards whose general purpose is to punish people, and you drew 90% good things.
Yeah, the card's got 6% good things in it, or something like that. The deck it's got just a few good things and some atrociously bad things. And Fred is one of the good things. I got a wish card, so I can cast the wish spell, which means you can change the fabric of reality. And I got another card, which is it doesn't seem as interesting, but it can. The answer to a puzzle can come to you with some deep thought and using the card. So basically, if we've got to get to an unsolvable puzzle, that sort of thing. So we'll see what happens. Here, check it out. We got all the tests passed. So that feels really good. All the tests have passed. So so we've achieved our goal, right? Where we are now able to come in here and just take massive swaths of code and remove it. Now, there's something I set a marker because I wanted to remind myself. Oh, but I shut down Visual Studio. Let's see if we can bring up my to-do stuff in here. Task list. Keep existing modifier. That's what I wanted to take a look at. I wanted to see where I was using this elsewhere. So here we go. Keep existing modifier was used. Whoa, what's this? The min damage. Okay, that makes sense. I'm cool with that. And so the fainting attack, we're not going to modify it, is in the fainting attack. So the fainting attack is super interesting. Because it modifies another attack.
Yeah.
Which means we need a way to declare that inside of inside here, our shortcuts. So it'll look something like this. It'll be like Fred, and then it'll be like the fainting attack, like that. And what do we got inside of this? We've got an additional dice here. Add dice right there. So 1d8 superiority. The the title of it is here. Ooh, it's got a vantage mod too on that. So the title is going to be the fainting attack, like that. And yeah, the time on it is one bonus action too. So one bonus action there for the time on that. And I think we're going to have to add some stuff here. I think we're going to have to come in. So this is a modifier. And, oh, here's the Vantage mod right here. Cool. So I can come in here and say Advantage. Sweet. Ooh. What if I did this? That it's a modifier. Like that. I like it that. So that could be the type right there. Although I did say I wanted to get rid of it. I said I wanted to get rid of this whole column. I was talking about that, I think, yesterday, the show before, I think, Tuesday's show. So, yeah, I think it's a mod. It's a role mod is what I think it is. And I think I want to come in here, insert one left, and I want to create something called role mod here. And I want to come down to Fred's feigning attack and put an X right in there, like that. Is what I think I'm going to do. Okay. And then that's gonna let's do that. Let's implement that. So we need to go inside here. It's the shortcut DTO. So maybe if I have to look for cut DTO. There it is right there. Player action shortcut DTO. And we're going to come in here and we're going to say, is that your time to go, Rory?
That I can't make it stop.
This is what you should do, Rory. When it's time for you to go, you should play a little sound on your end.
That's an interesting idea, actually.
Yeah, yes. Just play the music.
That's my sort of fallback currently. Yes, you're late. Go.
Or
kind of here.
I have an idea. You could do this, Rory. Look at the chat room. You type in music like that, right?
Oh, right. I tag the music in, so to speak.
You just bring the music in. It's sweet.
That'd be dead subtle, eh?
Yeah. So role mod is here. And let's go do tab next reference on Vantage mod. And then we're going to say results dot modifies. Whoops. What's going on here? Modifies existing role, I guess.
All right, Mark. Well, listen, I will catch you on Tuesday.
Whoa. All right, Rory.
Everyone have fun. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.
Bye, Rory. Thanks, Rory. Rory's so good. All right, so shortcut DTO dot role mod, and then it's going to be is checked, I think. Is that in my math? Yeah, that's D&D math. Dot is checked. No, math utils, sorry. So if it's checked, modifies existing role. So let's go declare that. And let's set that to false explicitly in the constructor. And Roy's left the building. Okay. So there's my modifies existing role. And then we need to actually do something with that. So let's go look at the fainting attack for Fred. Actually, Wild Fred, Fred became Wild Fred and may not have that attack anymore, actually. He does not. Let's go look at Old Fred. Old Fred had the superiority dice and the feigning attack. Hold on. You can spend 1 superiority dice and use a bonus action. Just realized this is cropped off by the... let's bring it over here so everybody can see it. All right. You can spend 1 superiority die and use a bonus action on your turn to add the total to the damage roll and gain advantage on your next attack roll against a chosen creature. So that's my fainting attack. I think that's a bonus action. Yeah. Fred has 2 weapon fighting, so you'll need to handle that and do 2 animations for 2 weapons. I didn't think I would need to. I think I would just... The weapon would be like a visual indicator to show what we're going to be shooting with. What we're going to be rolling the dice for in that time. So I'm not going to do that because I think it's too hard to have them swing back and forth in a way that kind of looks, natural. Once you get both of them up there swinging, I think it doesn't quite work. Okay, so the only thing it's modifying is it's modifying advantage and the damage roll. And if we look at the data here for that, for the shortcut, we've got its advantage, bonus action. It's going to add the dice, and it's got an additional dice title. And there's no effect associated with it. Yeah. So I think we're good there. Let's export this. I don't remember if I exported this or not with these latest changes. I don't think I did. So data, shortcuts, replace it. So now we're going to have that feigning attack for Fred. And I want to set a breakpoint in main window in activate shortcut right here. And the code's going to, I think, look something like this. It needs to look like this. If action shortcut dot modifies existing roll, then we have just a whole nother thing that we're doing and we're getting out. So let's set a breakpoint right there, and we'll add that code as we're running. Okay, here, let's read the data.
Lady Fred.
And feigning attack. Oh, but it's under actions, not bonus actions? That feels like a problem to me. Also, this doesn't look good. Why are we not responding, Visual Studio? Yeah, so Visual Studio was just unresponsive for about 15 seconds, 10 seconds. And nobody's blamed for that, which is really weird. Okay. All right, so I want to figure out why fainting attack wasn't added in the bonus actions. That's a bit of a concern to me, because I said specifically that its time was 1 bonus action. And we needed to go into all shortcuts, I think, something like that. All action shortcuts. Yeah, part right here. I don't want to be in this file. I want to be somewhere else. I think here's where I want to be. Yeah. So there's the time that's coming in as a string. I want to set a breakpoint here. Let's click on the initialize button again. Yeah, if it's not blending plugins, I draw my own conclusion, says Renee77. Yeah. But I'm just like, hey, you're really quick to blame when it's not you, but you're not so quick to blame when it maybe is. All right, so I want to do this. I want to, if this equals 1 BA, then I just want to set a little breakpoint here. And we're going to run it until we get the breakpoint. There we go. All right, so what's going on here in part? Is part the problem? Yeah, it got the wrong time in there. What's going on with get turn part? Oh, doy. Look at that. All right. I'm gonna kill what we're running because we need some test cases here. So this is like a really good idea. If you see a bug, we can't because of the scroll. Sorry about that, guys. Thanks so much. Let's get that out of the way. There you go. Okay, player action shortcut dot get turn part. I want to do something like this. Assert equal turn part dot action is equal to get turn part of 1A. Like that. Bonus action. Reaction. And special is the last one. Just anything else like that. And let's go move this to its own file. Let's call this turn tests. That's what I want to do. I want to change this to a rename file to match type, and let's rename this so to test turn part conversion. So we're probably going to have more tests in this space. So let's come down here, see if we can run this. See if it finds it, because I was having this problem with it not finding the tests before. That was requiring a restart. Okay, failed. Let's see what we got. Special's wrong. Let's go look at the code. Oh, star. Oh, it returns an action if none of these pass. Okay, that's actually okay. So we're going to go, that is special, and then one more action if it's nothing. And then that should pass. Cool. All right, let's run again. That's cool. I'm glad we fixed that. All right. Initialize player data. And switch to Fred. There we go. It's down here. Bonus actions. Battle axe up there. Let's look at Ava. So we had some bonus actions there, but a lot of these are still coming up here. Wrathful Smite. I guess those must all be actions. I should need to double check all of that. And we need to wrap them down onto multiple lines. That's what I think. The other thing that's cool about this is it's generating different buttons for both battle axe, one-handed and two-handed. That part's very cool as well. The greatsword button as well, the +1. If we look at the data for the shortcuts here, battle axe just won all by itself right there. All right, so let's now try Fred's fainting attack.
Fred!
Let's start with the battle axe, see what our modifiers and our, see if that right comes down there. This is old Fred, which is here. So we're looking for +6 to hit and 1D. Oh, Fred's got an exception here. We got to look at this. This should, we're gonna generate 1d8 +3, but we need it to be 1d8 +5. So we'll look at that exception too. Let's click it and see what happens. Oh, we didn't even get a 1d8 +3 here. We got the +3 here, but nothing there. Let me double check the data. Let's take this out. I think it didn't find it because of the name here, maybe? I'm not entirely certain about that, though. I'm wondering if that's related to why it didn't find it. Let's just check and see. We'll do another download of this data. It's a cool special effect, Fred. Let's hide the scroll. Puppy is going to be the death of my other dog, says Frackberg. This puppy. Is this like the 13 pounds of terror puppy that we were talking about, I think, yesterday? Frackberg? All right, send the data. And
Lady McLovin!
there we go. Now click on this. There we go. That was the problem. So we had the bad name in there. We need to have the name of the weapon and no longer specify if it's one-handed, two-handed. So that's what's going on there. All right, so we've got that now. That's working. This 1d10 +3 is correct. This 1d8 +3 is incorrect. Do I want to fix that first, or do I want to fix the code we just worked on? I guess we'll fix that second. This needs to become a 5. We'll change that in a second. I want to go to, let's click the fainting attack and get to our breakpoint. All right, so the things we can modify, that's the big questions. Which of these fields will we allow us to modify? At the very least, the Vantage mod for sure. So I think we want to say, hey, look, let's look at that. If action shortcut dot Vantage mod, or let's do this. Let's make it a switch statement. If it's normal, we don't care. But if it is advantage, then we want to say we need to do an advantage check on this roll. And do I have this out there that I can alt tab to? I don't. I need to look at what's going on with Advantage before I make any changes here. Hold on, let me just run it a second. And let's look at the UI here. Right now, this is the UI for changing Advantage or Disadvantage. All right. Let's go find those controls, because I had made some changes to the Advantage. Actually, they won't be here. We generate those in code. Set Vantage for active player. That's flippin' perfect. That's what I need. All right. So I think it's going to look like this. We'll set that breakpoint right there. We'll come back in one more time and we'll get to it. Fading attack. All right. If it's advantage or disadvantage, then we're going to pass in the advantage mod here. Is that it? Let's run it. And now let's see, did it do it? Yeah, well, I think it did. Let's click over here, do it again, run it. And did it do it? Yeah, it switched to advantage. Clear the breakpoint a second so we can see that. Switch it to normal, or just do this, and then we're going to do a feigning attack. Boom, switch to advantage. Good. Then we have to deal with the additional dice. And it's a little tricky. I'm just thinking right now, how do we keep from adding it multiple times? Like if somebody accidentally hit it a bunch of times, we might want to check, against that. I guess the DM could rule it in an invalid and we just do it again, or we could use discipline to solve the problem. Let's do it again. Here's our breakpoint. I want to say if action shortcut dot add dice. Then I think we want to do that. I think we want something like this. And we can do this for now. It's certainly no worse than it was before. So there's our superiority roll right there. And if we switch over to, if we refresh the 3D dice, let's do this and we'll actually see this working. And let's initialize the player data. Let's see, do we still control the scroll? We do.
Lady.
Go back to Fred. Fred says, I want to use my battle axe. It's up. And I want to use my fainting attack on it. Watch the advantage and this should both change, these two. Fainting attack. Sorry about that, folks. Breakpoint's still there. They both changed. And now, whoa, though. Why did we lose it? Hold on.
Lady McLaren.
One more time. So we're going to say battle axe, fainting attack. What? Oh, I know why. Clear windups is at the top. We don't want that there. Let's do it again. Clear windups. That's got to happen down here. Sweet. All right. Clear the breakpoint. Run. Fred's weaponized with his battle axe, two-handed. Now we're going to click on feigning attack. Boom. And there's the changes, advantage and superiority. We see both of those there, which means now if we do the roll, you'll see the superiority dice, which has the dragons around it. That's the superiority dice right there. So we get advantage on the roll, additional damage, and it modifies the roll. Sweet. Pudding says, wow, really cool. Rambling Geek says, good evening. Yeah, it is. It's pretty cool. It's super cool because the effects are just automatic right now. Now I don't need to do anything. I can just come in here, define everything in the spreadsheet, right? What are the shortcuts, right? We just added his feigning attack just by doing this. Now there might be other things that we're gonna do modifications to, and if it's a roll mod that will allow. Right now I'm only doing advantage and this data out here. The fainting attack though, this information I don't think is being sent down. Let's double check that. Battle axe, feigning attack, roll. I want to see the words feigning attack near the die. Near that die with the dragons. Yeah, I kind of want the words feigning attack there. I have a feeling that the die are the only element that shouldn't be removed from battling. But that's just personal opinion. Oh, you want to physically roll the die. Yeah, Well, it's actually a pretty challenging technical problem too. Also, the roll animations are amazing. Thanks, Pudding, for that. Yeah, we got some actually super cool ones in here. Check it out. I can also come in here and say like 3d12, and I can specify a damage type, and I think it'll affect those. So if I say like fire, and we say attack, we should see fire. No. I guess I got to manually specify it here like this, fire.
And there's going to be some damage.
Try again. There's the fire. Right, so we've got the fire effects, right? So all the different kinds of damage that are out there. We can do cold. In fact, I can keep going out here. Let's do 1d12 of cold. 1d12 of fire. 1d12 of force. 1d12 of necrotic. And let's roll it. Yeah, the die tell you what kind of damage they deal. So there's force, necrotic, fire damage, everything. So from a standpoint of visually explaining what's going on, I think the dice do a pretty good job of it. Like that. So yeah, and from the standpoint of viewing it and enjoying it, I feel like this is more enjoyable and conveys more information than if somebody just grabs a bunch of dice and throw it out. Also, we know the results of it, so that's coming back in the history as well, so we can see what that is, that sort of thing. I've got one called, I've got a spell called Chaos Bolt. When we run Chaos Bolt, the dice don't know the damage till after they're done rolling. So the DH you see there determine the damage. And so we say, you can see there's the choice. And so as part of the results, I can choose which damage it's going to be, which is kind of cool. So there's that. We'll do it again here to show you the effects of that. So 2 and a 7, you've got Psychic and Cold as your damage types. Yeah, so we've taken some effort here to like I say, take this, make the die effects for this over the top to make it faster. By the way, notice in the history for this, it shows me the choices now for the damage there. So the Dungeon Master sees the history. You're going to see this in the chat room if you're watching the show live, so if you're into stats and those aspects of the D&D. Then it's going to be, I think you're going to like it. Also, we've got, for example, we jump right into combat. I've got a button I can press here, enter combat, and the time clock stops there. Initiative is rolled, so the game is going to go much faster, right? And we see everything totaled up here, right? They're including your initiative bonuses. So Lady's going to be first, Fred next. And then the Dungeon Master is rolling the dice for the monsters. So the Dungeon Master is physically rolling dice. We won't see those. So looks like Pudding is like saying, okay, not bad. And everything you're seeing, we've built here on the show in all these episodes. We started at about, I want to say almost a year ago, although it doesn't feel like a year ago for this particular feature, but I think, I know the show itself started about a year ago. Time suck is 90% of the reason I stopped playing. Yeah, well, Frackberg, one of the things we're trying to do is we're trying to create a very fast-moving show because we want to really highlight the improv abilities of the players. We want it to be funny if possible. So we are, we're kind of working through how to play an improv game of Dungeons and Dragons and make it funny and entertaining. And so part of the purposes of the effects is to make it entertaining. Is to do that. Having a mobile version for this would be amazing for the average player. Yeah, I suppose there's ways to monetize this, but Brain says, just trying to make it fun right now, fun and fast. That's what I'm doing. The other thing is now I can come in here and I can right-click on. I've got Merc and I can say right-click and say intimidation, perform an intimidation skill check, and just very quickly get that out there. Yeah, this version was meant for D&D streaming, totally. And then we can immediately see it. So it's much faster in general to do that. Like, let's do a dexterity saving throw, boom, and I got the rollout like that quickly. And I've got Stream Deck buttons as well for these things, so I can do those. And Fred says he likes it. Fred says thumbs up on that. He's good on that. So with that said, I should probably. What is there? Anything I've left hanging in here that I need to get? We got the feigning attack working. We got all of these other pieces working. All of our test cases are passing. I'm kind of feeling like it's a pretty good time to end the show. I kind of want to keep programming, but I got some stuff I got to start at about 1 o'clock. Do it for free as long as I can take credit and people are happy. I got you, Pudding. Well, yeah, it is. I got to think about that. You know, it may be something that we do, like a mobile version of this, that kind of thing. But yeah, I think that we are getting the foundation. We're getting to the foundational point here, where we've got like all the spells from D&D, and we've essentially codified or dataified all the rules, right? So we can calculate the die roll, what it's going to be, what the damage is on a spell, right? And do that accurately. We've got a way to declare players, right? We're using CSVs right now for this stuff, for the data, but it's not hard to move this into something else, right? Another kind of database. And we've got the special effects, right? And things to speed it up. Got wrong the first time? What do you mean there, buddy? You have the +5 modifier, Fred. Oh, that's what I got to do. Make a note of that and get back to that. Oh, right. Let's look at that. Let's see if we can figure that out. And I'll do that. We'll see if we can do that. And we'll go for like another maybe 20 minutes, solve that, and then I'm out. Yeah, so we need to start by looking at the rules for that. Old Fred has a feature or a trait. You gain advantage on strength checks and saving throws, 2+ melee damage with strength weapons. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's a crazy mod. That's a mod I had not considered. +2 damage with strength weapons. Well, this is kind of interesting. So any weapon that I use a strength proficiency on, I can increase, I get a damage bonus. The question is, am I going to do this in a simple way, or am I going to do this in a maybe a really flexible way? Oh, you did COF before. Got it. Chat room on fire. I'm glad you can control that. Will, I did not know you had access to that ability. +2 melee damage with strength weapons. I'm inclined to do this the simple, inflexible way now to start with. Yeah, it sounds like there's 2 constraints to this, though. Let's see if we can figure this out. Oops, I just realized the chat room is blocking some of that. That's what I've selected right there. My take on it is there's 2 things at play here. It's got to be a melee, and it's got to be a melee that's chosen with the strength ability, right? And that means we need to know what that strength ability is, which ability we're using for the hit. And we know that in, I think we need to look for the word finesse in here. So here we choose the max. And this is ability modifier. This is inside get ability modifier for the weapon properties. All right, this is kind of where we need it. let's shut everything. Let's shut it down in the app. This is kind of where we need to do this. This is where we're checking that ability modifier. Set a breakpoint here. Do I have mods in here? Kind of have to figure out how we're going to define the mod in the spreadsheet as well. For the player. Let's think about how we're going to define that mod. I think I got it. Yeah, but I got it, but it's not, it means more code. Oh, it's when I'm entering a rage. It's only when I'm in a rage. Yeah, this is wrong. Because I'm not in a rage. This is like flat out +5. Okay, hold on. So I have to be in a rage. All right, so I think it looks like this. Back to the sheet. Like that. And then we're just going to list them off by name. Okay? Starts to sound like a bigger project. Yeah. But at least I know the direction we need to go. And then over here, we're going to create a new spreadsheet called mods. We're at least going to get in the right direction here. We're going to look at... Okay, so there's our mods. And I guess it's going to have a name property. And it's going to be a... and this first one for Fred might be... wait, that's regular Fred right there. I guess I'll call it Fred Rage. Do I want to call it Fred Rage or not? Maybe I don't. No, I don't. I wanted to do... I think I want to call it... +2 melee stir. Like that. Okay? And we want to call this like the bonus, the mod, the offset. So we're going to have an offset, and we're going to call that 2. I'm going to have a multiplier. Because there's in Dungeons and Dragons, there are a couple ones that have multipliers. I'm going to put a comment here that says if empty, then defaults to 1. So we're just going to multiply by 1, which means nothing's going to happen right there. And this one over here is going to say if empty defaults to 0. Worldwake says, hey, greetings, Worldwake. Glad to see you here. I'm taking a break overnight on an interview task I got from one company. Going to return my solution tomorrow. Going good so far. 2 technical interviews in progress. They just have pretty complicated exercises. You really have to work to make good progress on them. Hey, advice on that just is go back and review the code, right? Look for opportunities to simplify it. I think easier to, and to make the code easier to read. I think having in team-based environments, having the code easier to read is way more important than just about any other constraint. more important than memory use in general, more important than speed, at least in the first iteration, right? We want to make it easy to read. Then we're going to go back, and if somebody says, well, that's less efficient, then we say, look, efficiency problems, easy to read trumps efficiency problems if efficiency problems are undetectable by humans. In other words, if I can't see it and the code's easier to read, that's the most important thing. You can't argue that against that. All right, so I've got an offset and a multiplier, the +2 melee string. Then I need some conditions for the mod here. So this might be, what it's going to target. So the target here is going to be the damage offset. So we're going to have to create targets. That's our target. And we're going to need some conditions in here as well. And so one of the conditions is we have to be raging. Is that true? I think in rage, yeah. In rage equals true. Holy cow, does this project look big all of a sudden? Condition 1. Condition 2. No. Conditions. We'll comma separate these. So in rage has got to be equal to 2. Should we do this in C# syntax? I don't think so. I'm debating. Because I wanted this to be able to be maintained, and I want it to be easier to maintain. One fewer keystrokes to hit is good. Readable, self-explanatory code beats optimization. Yeah, yeah. In fact, if you start doing something and they say, okay, now optimize that for memory, optimize that for performance, and they don't give you any tools, just be like, hey, at this point we need to bring some tools in. Hold on, WordWorks says, nope, not algorithms. One was small scale machine learning API. I had to write that returns data in the proper format. And the other one was creating a load balancer with certain logic. Now I'm writing a plan on how to create a certain type of API monitoring and alert system. It says, I have a question about this. Would you consider easy to read more important than open to modifying opportunities in a team-based environment? Yes, I would. Although, personally, I tend to favor flexible, open to modifying opportunities. I would call that flexible design. I tend to personally favor flexible design, especially in areas where I have a strong, because I'm like team leader, I have a strong indication of where I want to take things. And so I feel like it's okay for me to be more in this space where I'm like, where I venture away from the guideline. But easy to read is, I think, just about the most important thing, because it increases the quality of the code. Generally, easy to read also means less code, right? Generally means that, right? Certainly fewer lines of code. Instead of doing, if you can do something in 1,000 lines of code instead of like, or maybe a better example, it's 200 lines of code instead of 2,000. That 200 lines of code are generally going to be way better, easier to maintain, quicker for a new developer to get up to speed, right? You have to realize that if you're working on a team, it's not just it's not just your costs, but the costs that you introduce to the whole team if you create code that's harder to maintain. Even if you're the only guy, when we now expand, right? Let's say, the goal of every business is to grow, right? When we grow, we're going to hire new people. If your code is hard, it means bringing in new people takes more time. It's more expensive. That means the quality of that code is lower. The cost of that code is higher, and the quality of the code is lower because it costs more to bring in more people. It takes longer to bring them up to speed. So from my perspective, easy to read is one of the almost always the highest priority goal in what you build. Main reason I value flexibility over easy to read is that sometimes you have to break stuff down to add new features, and this gives extra work to the next person who has to deal with the code. Yes. If you have a sense of direction, if the team knows the direction of where we're going, then we can pick and choose when we favor flexible over easy to read, right? However, extra work in terms of having to deal with the code, right? You have to think about your long-term balance of work, right? Versus what we're doing now for this feature and what we're going to do next year for another feature. And refactoring and reworking things it's something that's continually happening. Like we're in the middle of doing a major refactoring on the code we've written for this show, right? And we're in the middle of that. And from my perspective, don't be afraid of refactoring, right? Test cases, make sure you're not going to be afraid of, you help with that, right? You're not going to be afraid of it. And it's a part of the normal development cycle. And so even in like things that we're going to do, even in new things that we do, we will sometimes say, okay, some of our decisions are in terms of, what's the lowest cost, not only now, but long-term, right? And so if our refactoring skills are strong, we can refactor quickly, and our quality assurance is high, like we've got a ton of test cases, and we have discipline that's high as well. I'm not afraid of refactoring later on as a whole team effort, because it generally is not something that introduces really costly problems. That's essentially the whole goal behind it. So Renee77 says, you'll read your code about 20 times more often than you modify it, I think the research showed. That's what's in my head. Cover says only 20 times. Yeah, that might be true. So conditions, in rage is true. We want to say, what's the other condition? Let's go back to the description here. Ability, attack, ability, modifier equals strength. Isn't this looking sweet, kids, if we get this working? And it's a melee attack. Attack type is melee. Like that. Those are my conditions. I'm going to put a space so those would be after those comments so they're easier to read. So plus 2 melee stir is the name of that mod. And now I'm going to go back over into players, and I'm going to add it. And well, here we've got the rage mods. I don't need that anymore. I can now delete that and just add it here for Fred right here. So work on this next week, I think. So when Fred's in a rage, he's going to have that correct, which is so flippin' cool, because now we started this by saying, hey, I think D&D Beyond is wrong, and now we've seen some more data that shows that that is the case, that D&D Beyond is taking some shortcuts here. When we see this +5, he's not in a rage right now. That should be a +3. And so we're gonna actually be better than D&D and Beyond, which I also like, because even though this is going to be a comedy show that we're kind of creating this for, I really want the purest, the most stickler D&D folks out there to be watching this and coming away impressed that we are actually nailing the rules exactly. So that's what I want to do. All right, with that, let's go out and see who out there that we're following is live. Holy cow, we got a lot of people out there. I'm going to send you over to Michael Jolly. Let's do that. One of my favorites. Here we go. Here's the raid to the Michael Jolly. Don't know why I'm still typing this in. Let's declare a new button for that here in a second. We'll do that. Last thing you want is having fun when someone points out errors. Yeah, I know, exactly. Hey, thanks, everybody. Thanks, World Wake, for showing up. Renee77, Brackberg. Stay tuned next week, Brackberg. I think we're going to have a surprise for you. Thanks for the fun. Have a great afternoon, says Pudding. Cover says see you next week. Say hi to Michael Jolly. I'm just going to get out of here. We'll talk to you later.